I'm now done with Chinatown, the 13e arrondissement, or District 13, and I'm now on the train to Saint Lazare, an area that you said is pretty fun. So I'm now in Saint Lazare, a Parisian neighborhood. Uh, we're just gonna walk around for a little while and perhaps find a cafe somewhere to sit down and chill after that. This is one McDonald's restaurant that you won't be able to find in the US. Look at the structure, the architecture. Be pretty cool. This is my sister Jung's condo complex in Garches, France.
Non, il n'est pas réparé. Il n'est pas réparé parce que t'es rentré dans l'eau. Il n'est pas réparé. Mais c'est très reconditionné. Un vieux modèle.
Uncle John is 88 years old. He's a very gentle and kind person, smiles often, still very sharp mentally. He doesn't say much, but whenever he has a chance to share with me memories from his youth, he becomes alive. I can see the gleam in his eyes when he talks about his younger days. He's very proud he's been together with his wife for 70 years. Yes, 70 years. A big smile would appear on his face whenever they reminisce about the time they first met and did things together.
T'es content, t'as de la purée?
As for my cousin Bruno, he recently became a grandfather. It was during this luncheon that he whipped out his phone to show me a picture of his grandson. Il est beau. He's handsome, isn't he? He asked, with a glimmer of pride in his eyes.
Moi, je les aime bien. Et pourtant, ils sont comme tu les aimes bien.
Hey, papy. Papy. Papy.
This is the train station near my sister's house in Garches. So the station is called Garches Market, and this is the local coffee shop across from the train station. My sister and I sometimes come here for a morning cup. This is the local bakery at Garches. It's called the Boulangerie Patisserie L'Éclat. And this is where we normally get our fresh bread daily. And this is the Maison Rose Boucherie, the butcher. This is where I get all the fresh pâté. Pt2 is a well-known supermarket in France. The one thing unusual about them is that they specialize in frozen products. I'm now giving you a look of the interior of Pt2. As you can see, they really don't sell anything fresh. Everything that they sell here is frozen. So all you're going to see in this store are just refrigerators and freezers. Today is my next to last day in France. I'm be heading home tomorrow to the States. And so I just want to spend some extra time with my Uncle John today, Tonton Jean. I'm actually in Chinatown today, right now, and we're going to meet up with Tonton Jean for lunch at a same Vietnamese restaurant that we were at just a couple of days ago, Pho Đậu Bò. One thing you should know about Tonton Jean is that he loves Vietnamese food, but he doesn't get to eat it very often. His wife, my aunt, is 100% French, and she doesn't really care for Vietnamese food. Well, she doesn't really care for Asian food in general. So every chance that my uncle has to eat Vietnamese, he doesn't pass it up. Right now we're still a little early, so we decided to swing by Tom Freya, that Chinese Vietnamese supermarket, to get him some moon cakes, bánh trung thu. Chiang Hang is a very popular banh mi shop in Chinatown. It's Tuesday, it's around noontime, so lunchtime, and look at the people in line to get the banh mi. All right, Yung already bought some moon cakes, bánh trung thu at Tom Freya, but you can find any bánh chưng. So we're now checking out. We're checking out another Asian supermarket in the area. This one's called Big Store Plus. It is not as big as Tonton Freya, but it's according to Yung, it's a lot cleaner. So we're going to go in there and try to find some bánh chưng for Tonton Jean. I'm going to give you a quick look of the interior of this Asian supermarket. Clearly much nicer than Tonton Freya. They also have fresh durian here. Very, very nice and clean in here. We just finished our lunch, and right now we're just waiting for Bruno to bring his car over to pick up Tonton Jean. I'm at Charles de Gaulle Airport now for my flight home. I made it through security pretty quickly, and now I still have about over an hour to kill. So I figure I'm just gonna shoot the breeze a little bit This airport is really nice, much nicer than any other airports in the US that I've been to. It has all kinds of luxury stores here, such as LV, Chanel, Prada, and overall it's just much nicer. The layout, the furniture they use, it's just so clean and upscale looking. If I look and sound tired, it's because I am. I don't know if you know this, but a week before my trip, I got a gout attack on my left foot, and I was in a lot of pain. I went to see a doctor who then gave me a bunch of meds, and the gout got a little better until the night before my trip. I got a flare up again, and I was in a lot of pain to the point where I seriously thought about canceling this trip if it didn't get better the next morning. So because of this gout problem here, I was not able to enjoy my trip to the fullest. Even though my cousins in England and Jung in Paris were fantastic hostesses, and I'm still in pain right now as we speak. But anyway, enough ranting and rambling. I'll catch you later.
Hello again. Obviously, I'm back in the States now, as you can tell by the studio behind me. I just want to take a moment to share with you some final thoughts on this trip. As I mentioned briefly in my London video, when I travel, I do it with a different mindset than most people. When I travel, sightseeing is not my main objective. Connecting with people is. Therefore, I'm not going to talk about the places that I went to, but rather about the people that I met, notably two of them. Number one, in London, the person who impressed me the most was Nguyen, Han's husband. Now, don't get me wrong, Han and Vanang were awesome, and I can't thank them enough for taking care of me. However, it was Nguyen who raised the hospitality bar by a few notches. You see, I only met Nguyen once prior to this trip, and that was over 30 years ago, 36 to be exact. And we don't even keep in touch at all during all those years. So if it wasn't for his wife being my cousin, we're basically strangers. And yet at no time during this trip did he make me feel like one. This man did everything for my sister and me, making breakfast, doing the dishes, driving us around, always with a big smile. But one particular deed stood out above the rest. When Nguyen saw my swollen left foot due to gout, he offered to apply a medicinal cream to it. He said the cream was really good and that someone had brought it back from Singapore and given it to him as a gift. Of course, out of modesty, I tried to decline the offer initially. Anyway, long story short is, next thing I know, I'm sitting on the living room couch, and this man is on the floor, literally on his knees, holding another man's foot and gently massaging it. How can you not be touched, be humble by such an act of kindness. So, Antuyan, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so very much. By the way, I really enjoyed watching all those women's World Cup soccer games with you. Now, number 2 in France. I really had a great time hanging out with Uncle John, Tonton Jean. He was the man I came to Paris to see, and I'm really glad that I got to spend time with him 3 days out of the 5 that I stayed there. There were 2 moments involving Uncle John that stood out for me. The first one occurred after our second luncheon. Now, remember, I spent 3 days with him in Paris, but at the time, he didn't know that and thought he wouldn't see me again. So as we were saying goodbye to each other, he grabbed my arm and said in French, "Dis bonjour à maman, dis-lui que je pense à elle souvent. Say hi to mom and tell her that I think of her often." Then he went over to my sister and said the same thing to her. As I was walking home with my sister, I reflected on what my uncle just said, and it gave me a lump in my throat. No one has ever said that to me. No one has ever said, "I think of you often," to me. Never in my life. Maybe you guys are lucky and have had someone say that to you, but not me. And the mere fact that my uncle not only asked me, but also my sister, tells me that he meant it. Those words were not empty words. So the first time I saw my mom after this trip, I made sure I relay his message to her. The second incident involving Uncle John occurred after our last lunch together. This was after Bruno had already put Uncle John in his car before I had a chance to give him a goodbye hug. So I went up to the window, grabbed his hand, and gave it a light squeeze, and I kept saying, "I'm really glad to see you again, Uncle," over and over to make sure that he knew I meant it. He smiled and started staring into the distance. Then he said, "Ce sera peut-être la dernière fois qu'on se revoit. This might be the last time we see each other again." There was a short, awkward pause. I was caught off guard. Bruno was there. He was caught off guard too, I think. So Bruno quickly dismissed his dad. "Stop talking nonsense, Dad," he said. That moment has a very profound effect on me. I came to Paris this time primarily to see Uncle John, and I hope to have many more opportunities. Uncle John is a very kind and gentle person. I'm confident that if you get to meet him, you feel the same way too. I strongly believe he takes after his dad, my grandfather, who was a master Buddhist monk. I'm telling you, this man just exudes tenderness and kindness. Well, those incidents, those moments that I just told you about left indelible marks on my memory bank, and I will forever cherish them. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.